Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on rounding off. Depending on the situation at hand, we sometimes need to round off a measurement to end up with a very acceptable approximation. Let us look at this further by doing some examples which will demonstrate the above statement. Example 1. Round off 74 to the nearest 10. So here's a little number line. There's 70, 75 and 80. The red dot shows that 74 is nearer to 70 than to 80. Hence, 74 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 70. Example 2. Round off 63,315 to the nearest 1,000. So here's a number line. That's where 63,000 is. That's 63,500. And that's 64,000. If we are rounding off 63,315 to the nearest 1,000, we can see that it is closer to 63,000. Hence, 63,315 rounded off to the nearest 1,000 is 63,000. Round off 143 to the nearest 10. So there's 140, there's 145, and there's 150. The red dot above is the approximate location for 143. We can see that this is closer to 140 than to 150. So, 143 rounded off to the nearest 10 is 140. Example 4. Round off 775 to the nearest 100. So here's 700, here is 750, and here is 800. The red dot above is the approximate location for 775. We can see that this is closer to 800 than to 700. So, 775 rounded off to the nearest 100 is 800. Now here are two everyday examples which shows how we can apply this idea of rounding off. Example 5. Bill knows that the distance from town A to town B is 1,753.832 kilometres because he checked it out using his automatic distance calculator, which can measure distances to the nearest 10 metres. Bill's family live in town A, and his dad wants to visit town B at some stage in the future because of the beautiful botanic gardens. Dad asks Bill about the approximate distance from town A to town B. What should Bill say to Dad? Well, here is an idea of what should be said. Telling Dad the exact distance to 3 decimal places is not practical. Dad would be very happy to know that the distance is very close to 1,750 kilometres. This is rounded off to the nearest 10 kilometres. Example 6. Dad wanted to know how long his block of land was to the nearest metre, because he wanted to build some garden beds. When John used his scientific measuring instrument, he told Dad that the block was 0.0352 kilometres long. Dad was scratching his head because he was very confused. How can Dad's mind be put at ease? The answer? John should set his scientific measuring instrument to give the length in metres. Dad would be very happy to know that the length of the block was 35 metres to the nearest metre. So they're just two examples how we can use rounding off in real life.